Hello, and welcome to the 11th installment of Goss Reads Goss, Menace in the Goldilocks zone. As you recall, we are up to chapter 11, if you've been watching the other 10 videos. And our intrepid band of adventurers is headed off to Arborea from Mount Mara and they have just been intercepted by a Aredian cruiser, which is commanded by a Admiral Basque, which turns out to be related to the gunner that they helped of the scout that had been chasing the Xenosian raider. So, and both Roger and Captain Forgedam have been given honorary ranks in the Aredian Deep Space Patrol. So, the last few paragraphs are simply, we ended when Forgedam responds to, well, let me put it this way. Let's just read the last two paragraphs here. I wonder what Peregrine will say once she learns she now has official contacts with the Aredian Deep Space Patrol, Roger muses. Honorary official, Forgedam amends. That reminds me, Forgson, she turns to the junior crew member. Go tell Peregrine she can come out of the necessary now. So thus we begin chapter 11, The Many-Headed Beast. It is the 141st watch, and though Arborea looms large in the cockpit window, it is still 3 days away. Though she is due to rest, Forgedam lingers at the galley table as the crew departs. Roger and Peregrine notice and take her cue to remain as well. I've been thinking about our problem, Forgedam says, by way of introducing the topic, and I think there is only one solution, which of course introduces another set of problems. Let's start with your solution, Peregrine suggests. We obviously need to take another vessel to Kryptos, she observes, since we are now celebrities among the Aredian scouts. Every time we're spotted, it will be reported to the Admiral, which means we have to acquire another vessel, at least temporarily. New problem number one, Peregrine notes. But by what means do we acquire one? I certainly don't have the money, and I am loath to sell this vessel, Forgedam continues. Any money we get for it will only be enough for a less space-worthy vessel. And it is your home, Roger notes sympathetically. New problem number two, Peregrine notes again. And if we do get another vessel, Forgedam continues, and I don't sell this one, what do we do with this one while we complete our expedition? New problem number three, Peregrine concludes. Is there anything else? Just the old problems we already had, Forgedam replies, which I expect to have solved during our time on Arborea, Peregrine assures her. Well, as far as the third new problem, Roger observes, we could take both to Kryptos. But then we have the problem of the Aredians recognizing us, Forgedam points out. Not if the second vessel is big enough, Roger says. We could put this vessel in the cargo hold. This vessel is certainly small as freighters go, Forgedam admits, but it would still take a very large vessel to have a hold large enough. I've seen passenger liners that look big enough, Peregrine says. Yes, they do have large holds, Forgedam agrees pensively. But we are stuck at new problem number two then. How are we to acquire a large vessel without means? You said that nectar gel is like treasure on these other worlds, Roger reminds Peregrine. I brought a lot of nectar gel. I don't think you brought that much, Peregrine replies doubtfully. Besides, you need at least some of it to eat. I also brought sea salt. Cerulean sea salt, Foragedem says thoughtfully. That's just odd enough that the Arborians might pay dearly for it. We will need to find the right vessel and the right seller, Peregrine muses. And we will have to somehow keep our inquiries discreet. Keeping inquiries discreet on Arborea is like teaching ceruleans to sing, Foragedem says. It can't be done. The explanation of the word sing on Roger's goggles is convoluted, but sufficient for Roger to take the captain's meaning. We've already decided my appearance on Arborea will draw a lot of attention, he points out, so we might as well use that to our advantage. I can say I've come to Arborea because I've heard that they make the best passenger liners. Once word gets out that a cerulean admiral with a deep space patrol is looking for a passenger liner, people wanting to sell one will come looking for us. Foragem looks at Roger wordlessly for a moment or two. Admiral, she says finally, you're a certifiable genius. Just one thing, though. I'd play down our connections with the Arretians. Oh? Why? The Arborians resent the Arretians, she says simply. They really resent the Arretians. Oh, I see, Roger says, even though he doesn't. Well, Peregrine concludes with some satisfaction, it appears that we do have some means after all. Tell me about this place we're landing at, Roger says to Foragem as they orbit Arborea in preparation for landing. It's a smaller spaceport, she replies, about the size of Rocketon. Perhaps a little smaller. It's located in a valley, so there's a river for you to visit. Most of the people are farmers like you who grow fruit, but there is some mining in the mountains as well. We have visited here once or twice before, so we are known, but I cannot say we have any friends here. Any enemies? No, Foragem replies thoughtfully. None that I know of. Well, there's that then. The descent strikes Roger as rougher than usual, and as predicted, his limbs feel heavier than they ever have. Even Peregrine and the Mare Urban seem to be moving slower. As it was long ago decided that poor Peregrine remain unseen, it is Foragem and Roger who meet the portmaster to register their stay and arrange for fuel. My Arborian is very limited, Foragem confesses to Roger as they walk out of the hold. I suspect things will go more smoothly if you and your marvelous device do all the talking. Should I mention that we are looking for a larger vessel? Not yet, Foragem advises. Be vague. Say simply that we have some business to conduct. Believe me, the word will get to the right people. They step out of the hold to see that the port is bustling with motorized transports that look similar, but not the same as the Arretian units on Cerulia. Each transport is staffed by at least 3 Arborians, and Roger's appearance does indeed excite a great deal of interest. Be sure you insist on speaking only to the portmaster, Foragem advises. One of the transports stops at their vessel, and an interrogation begins. May we ask who you are and where you are from? One of the Arborians queries. Yes, the other 2 chime in. Who are you and where are you from? My immediate business is with the portmaster, Roger replies, getting an encouraging nod from Foragem. Are you the portmaster? Its business is with the portmaster, one of the Arborians says to the one who spoke first. Yes, the portmaster, the other chimes in. I am the assistant to the portmaster, the first Arborian replies. An assistant to the portmaster, the apparent number 2 of the trio corrects. Yes, an assistant, echoes the third. In any case, the portmaster is very busy. I am authorized to make your arrangements, the first Arborian assures Roger. Yes, he is authorized, the second one repeats. And the portmaster is very busy, the third emphasizes. I prefer to deal directly with those in charge, Roger says firmly. We can wait until the portmaster is available. He gestures to Forgedem to return to the vessel. It can wait, the second port worker says to the first. Yes, until the portmaster is available, chimes the third. If you prefer, the first worker stops them, you can wait in his office. We can take you there. Yes, we can take you, the second says to them. And you can wait in his office, says the third. Very well, Roger agrees. You may take us to him. He looks to Forgedem, who's already moving toward the transport. Well done, she says to Roger. Roger folds himself into the passenger compartment next to Forgedem. Are all Arborians this exhausting to deal with? He asks as they're sped across the spaceport. No, Forgedem says confidently. It's usually much worse. They ride along in silence for a while until Forgedem leads into Roger confidentially. When we get off, she instructs him, ask the driver for his name. Thank him for his help and tell him you will mention how helpful he was to the portmaster. Why? The three of them were very annoying. We need to make friends here, not enemies, Forgedem replies. By refusing to deal with him, we may have diminished his status with his cohorts. By complimenting him to his boss, we enhance his status. Why didn't we just deal with him in the first place if we want to enhance his status? Roger asks irritably. Because to do so would diminish the status of the portmaster, Forgedem explains. We haven't been here an hour and already my mind is ready to explode, Roger says in exasperation. The transport stops before a multi-story adobe building whose exterior rooms at least are open to the air. This is the port headquarters, the driver informs Roger. The portmaster's office is through that door, he says, pointing. Yes, through that door, the second one repeats. That's his office, the third one adds. Roger extricates himself from the transport and looks up at the driver. What's your name, lad? He asked amiably. You have been very helpful, and I want to be sure to tell the portmaster what a capable assistant you are. He wants to tell the portmaster, the second worker exclaims. You were very helpful, the third assures the first. My name is Treevine, the worker replies. The portmaster's name is Strongbow. Yes, Master Strongbow, the second confirms. My name is Shadeleaf. Yes, his is Shadeleaf, and I am Greenbark, the third chimes in. Well, thank you all, Roger says. The transport moves off, but as it leaves, Roger hears Shadeleaf informing his fellows that it thanks us and is very grateful. Forgedem and Roger walk through the door indicated to find a room filled with 6 Arborians in animated conversation, which abruptly halts with their appearance. Hello, Roger says to the group. We have just arrived and wish to speak to the portmaster, Strongbow. It speaks, one of the Arborians gasps. Through that machine, another points out. It wants the portmaster, a third announces. It has just arrived, but from where, a fourth asks. Is that a Mara Urban, a fifth asks. I am Strongbow, the sixth replies, and you are? I am Admiral Roger of the Cerulean Dread Patrol, Roger says quickly and loudly before the other 5 have a chance to confirm that Strongbow is indeed Strongbow. And this is Captain Forgedem of the Mara Urban freighter we just arrived in. We require fuel and a... Turns to Forgedem. You don't call it a slip when it's a space vessel. It's called a pad, Forgedem informs him. We require fuel and a pad, he finishes. It's a Cerulean. It's an admiral. That is a Mara Urban. It's called Roger. What, the Mara Urban? No, the Cerulean admiral. The Mara Urban is called Forgedem. How long will you be needing the pad? Strongbow asks. At least 15 days, Forgedem says to Roger. At least 15 days, Roger repeats to Strongbow. It'll be here for 15 days. At least 15 days, maybe longer. You're longer than 15 days? Why is it here? Yes, what is it going to do for over 20 days? What is the nature of your visit? Strongbow asks. Oh, I have some merchandise I hope to sell, Roger replies casually. I have heard that the people of Arboria have extremely refined tastes, so I have brought the finest products, very rare and special items, to share with your people. But, Roger adds dismissively, you need not concern yourself with that, a busy and important person such as yourself. He has rare and special items. He says our tastes are refined. We only buy the finest products, and we refine them. What kinds of products? Strongbow asks. I need to be sure you are not introducing anything dangerous. Yes, nothing dangerous. Are ceruleans dangerous? Mare Urbans can be. What? We have dangerous Mare Urbans and ceruleans? Alert public safety! None of my products are dangerous, I assure you all, Roger says hastily. I have nectar gel and sea salt from Cerulia, and we pose no threat, Captain Forgedem and I. Oh, they have nectar gel from Cerulia, and sea salt from Cerulia. They don't look dangerous. Ceruleans and Mare Urbans are harmless, everybody knows that. I need to inspect the cargo you wish to sell, Strongbow informs them. Of course, Roger replies. You will have your fuel tomorrow, the portmaster adds, but I will need payment today. Yes, we need immediate payment. You can't have you blasting off without paying. Fuel is expensive. Don't they have the money? Captain Forgedam here has the proper financial instruments, Roger replies, nodding to the Mare Urban. Forgedam produces a small device that the portmaster inserts briefly into his tablet. Once he has returned the device, Roger asks, When can we expect your inspection, Master Strongbow? Nothing until morning, he replies. I have much to do. Do not try to sell anything before my inspection, he warns. You will need my certification for any legal sale. Yes, you need his approval. All sales must be legal. We will have no criminal activity here. Yes, the chieftain will see to that. We will await your inspection then, Roger says, his veneer of patience wearing thin. He turns to leave when he catches a significant look from Forgedam. And oh, Master Strongbow, I must compliment you on the quality of your assistance. That young Treevine was very helpful and most efficient. That kind of professionalism can only come from the top. Treevine is a sniveling, sneaky opportunist. The speaker is silenced by a dark look from Strongbow. The Admiral is most gracious, Strongbow replies. Until the morning, then. Roger and Forgedam make their way slowly across the spaceport to the freighter. Who's this chieftain they mentioned? Roger asks when they are well away from the portmaster's office. The chieftain is a local leader, Forgedam replies. Arborians tend to be very tribal, and even today they are only loosely organized on a planetary scale. As there is still a great deal of competition among the tribes, no longer violent, thank goodness. As a result, the local chieftains hold a great deal of sway and often power. Well then, Roger muses, it seems we had better meet this chieftain. I believe the fellow's name is Broadtrunk, Forgedam reports. I suspect we will before long. Back at the freighter, Forgedam has the crew unload Roger's nectar gel and sea salt in preparation for Strongbow's inspection. For his part, Roger sets up the portable shelter and gill flushing device in the shade of the freighter, the unloaded shipping containers providing a screen from activity on the spaceport. Satisfied with those arrangements, he goes looking for Peregrine and finds her tinkering with the device with the parabolic disc and crystal in the freighter's airlock. Well, I think we set things in motion, Roger says by way of greeting. Yes, Forgedam told me. Portmaster will inspect the cargo tomorrow and likely convey his findings to the chieftain. Peregrine summarizes while testing a circuit on the device. Let's hope the chieftain is sufficiently intrigued. Yes, let's hope, Roger agrees while examining the device more closely. Just what is this thing anyway? Peregrine considers the question a moment before answering. It is a weapon, she admits finally. A weapon? Roger takes a step away from the disc in pale blue crystal. Don't worry, Peregrine assures him. It's harmless to living things. It can only harm machines, thinking machines. Really? Roger asks intrigued. How can that be? It produces a very strong pulse of energy here, Peregrine indicates a point at the center of the disc with several leads feeding to it, and focuses that pulse into a narrow beam through this crystal. The pulse of the energy disrupts and damages electronic circuits like those used by tablets and other devices, like evil, intelligent machines, Roger notes. Yes. Is that what we're going to do? Destroy that evil machine on Kryptos? Peregrine draws a deep breath. No, she says. No, we are not. As much as I want to. It would be too dangerous to confront the machine directly, as we would risk contamination. But it would be foolish not to be prepared for such a confrontation. No, my friend, this is just in case things don't go as planned. No, she repeats. We must be content with depriving it of the knowledge that it needs. Who are you trying to convince? Roger asks. Me or yourself? Peregrine makes one of her eloquent gestures with her mouth and eyes, one that indicates an amused sadness. Myself, she concedes, and I'm having a rough time of it. Well, Roger observes, it is good to be prepared, especially since nothing on this trip has gone as planned. He turns to leave. Will we see you at the evening meal? Yes. It will be nice to eat under the stars again, Roger muses contentedly. Yes. Yes, it will, Peregrine agrees. Until then. So that is the end of chapter 11. Chapter 12 is called Rotvine. Once again, thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. Chapter 12 will be next week. Have a good night or good day.